In this video, I'm going to install XCP-ng on my old workstation. Welcome to Home Tiny Lab, my name is Christoph, and in this video I want to reuse the parts from my previous workstation. My previous workstation was already very old. It was built in 2011. It was a Sandy Bridge processor, i7 2600K. What have I done? I have enabled virtualization, and I have disabled the turbo ring for the processor, and I've put a new power supply in it. It's EVGA 700 watts, what's plenty enough. And then I have removed the discrete GPU, and I have replaced it by a 10 gigabit NIC. Let's start. Here we are on my capture card, and I'm going to start the system up. I am going to enter the BIOS, and I will show the settings that I have changed. So in OC Tweaker, it's a Asrock motherboard, like you can see, and the Intel Turbo Boost technology is enabled, but I have disabled the load optimized CPU OC setting because when I was using it as a workstation, this was enabled, so it could go to 4.3 gigahertz. Okay, donc virtual capabilities are not supported, so this means that you cannot pass through hardware to your virtual machine. Let's look in CPU configuration here. Intel virtualization technology is enabled. That's also important. Let's see if the disk is recognized. Okay, the boot option. We have the crucial SSD. That's almost the original SSD of the workstation. It's the second. It was my first upgrade that I've done. That was moving from my Corsair SSD to the crucial SSD. And the second update that I did to the workstation during I was using it as such was the memory. I went from 8 gig to 16 gig. And the graphical card also changed over time, but now I'm using an older workstation. So I have set in the system the USB stick with Ventoy to boot from. So 11, and I have to choose USB. And now it's loading the menu, selecting XCP-ng. So I'm using the long-term supported version. So enter. Okay, we want to install. So there will be chapters and also fast forwarding. Here you have to choose the keyboard of your likings. For me, it's a Belgium keyboard. As a bonus, I will show afterwards how you can migrate from another XCP-ng host your virtual machines. So accepting. Here you see that there is an SSD crucial in the system. So that's already selected. Then there is a choice where you can choose if you want to use ext or LVM as a filing system for your local storage repository. I am using ext for this system, and this means it's marked underneath LVM is block based and is faster, but it is tick provisioning, and I only have 238 gigabytes. So this means that if I'm using tick provisioning, it will go through the disk space that I have. So I'm using ext, what's giving me a little more breathing room. I have a video that covers this, the difference between tin and tick and the different storage repositories that XCP-ng uses. So I am selecting ext to have tin provisioning. Using local media. Okay, so it's the USB stick. I'm going to skip verification for this video. Here you have the password that you are going to use for your XCP-ng host for the root account. So if you forget your password of your root account, if you don't remind what you have typed at the end of the configuration, no worries. I have a video also on my channel where I show how you can change that password. on demand of one of my viewers. The only interface that has a link is the ETH1, and that's one of my 10G NICs that I'm using. I'm selecting the ETH1. You could go for automatic configuration if you have the service good configured on your network. For me, that's not the case yet. It's something that I will cover in other videos. So for the moment, I'm going with a static configuration. You have to enter an IP address that's free in your range and that you are not using by another system. Otherwise, you will have some read behavior. 192, 168 in my case, and I'm going to use 40. The other XCP-ng host that I'm using is using 30. Then you have to enter the subnet mask. It's a class C. So I'm not actually a network expert. You have to know a little bit the basics. And your gateway is going to be, in most cases, for the people that have something from their provider, will be 1. Not using VLANs yet. Okay. Host name. This I am going to change, and I will put my processor letters or type. So then you have to enter DNS servers. For me, I have configured a PyHole that I am also using for my DNS, internal DNS names also. That's my secondary DNS server or secondary PyHole, and they are synchronized. So okay, for this part, select your time zone, very important, Europe, and it is Brussels. Now using NTP. So if you don't have your own NTP server, you will have to use one of your provider or the one that are used for your country. For me, this is pool.ntp.org, and then as a secondary, I will put pool.ntp.org, and this is okay. So one day I will have a local NTP server that will synchronize, so that I only need to maintain myself one or a secondary, and everything is synchronized with those servers at that moment. If you are running in an enterprise, it's best to have your own NTP servers. And now we are going to install XCP-ng. I'm not going to record this in one take. These are the span of multiple days, but I will stop at the XCP-ng installation. Would you like to install any supplemental packs? No. This is not a painful installation. It goes rather easy. I will put the hardware in the description so that you know what's compatible, that what I am using is compatible with XCP-ng. It can be of interest for some people. Okay, here we are. The XCP installation has completed. Please remove any local media from the drive and press enter to reboot. Okay, USB stick. USB stick is removed and press OK, and the system will reboot. Enter, then it goes a little bit faster. Okay, so this is the screen that you have on your console. So status display, you have the network configuration, network and management interface, authentication, virtual machines, there are no on it. Disk and storage repositories, there is nothing configured. Resource pool configuration, either one. Hardware and BIOS information. You have to press enter to view all the other stuff that's important. So for me, what's important, I am going from 4 threads to 8 threads, and I have a little bit more processor power, and I have a little bit more of memory. These were important aspects to do the effort to install a new this machine with XCP-ng. and then now I have to migrate. So there is still some time, so I'm going to do this. Okay, so here I am in Xen Orchestra. That's running on my other system. So what do I have to do to integrate the new server? So let's go to servers under settings. And you see that my XCP-ng host that I'm now using has the IP address 30, and now I have to add one, XCP-ng 2600K, and the address was ending with 40. Username is always root normally, and the password is, and then click on connect. You have to wait a little bit, and then there you have a triangle. Click on it. Do you want to accept self-signed certificates for this server? For the moment, yes, until you have a solution to generate your certificates. Okay, and now you can use your server to install virtual machines and to do all the nice stuff with Xen Hypervisor. So if you go to pools, my new configured one is some patches behind. So what I will do is now off screen patch my systems, and then I'll be back. The patching is done, and now you can see that each server is a master because they are not together in a pool. The main reason that they are not together in a pool that is there is too much difference between the two hosts. So what is the goal for me, for my home lab? That's to migrate everything that is on the XCP-ng host, so my older system, to migrate everything to the XCP-ng 2600K. There are different ways that you can migrate. You could do a restore from a backup to your new host, or you could migrate disks to the other or VDIs to the other host. So we are going to experiment what's possible or not. Perhaps we will discover something else or something that I've forgotten. So first of all, before beginning an operation like this, I prefer to force a backup. My last backup was August 8th, what's today, at 9 p.m. It's 1 hour ago. It took 1 minute, the duration, and the transfer was 2 gigabytes. But I'm going to force it. So to force it, you have to click on the play button. And are you sure you want to run backup VM hourly? Okay, you go to tasks, you can follow up with what he is busy doing. So I will be back when the backup is finished. This is the second day. If the backup was successful, So let's check if everything is there, because I have just started everything up. So my lab is not a 24/7 lab. It's only running when I need it, for instance, for YouTube. So I have my two hosts. Each one is a master, so it's the same thing as having two domains or two pools with several servers. They are also their own pool, so it's a 1-1 relation. So the exercise here that I want to do is to migrate all my VMs that I have to the machine that I've now newly configured, the XCP-ng 1600K. So first of all, let's look at the VMs that I have. All the VMs, even the VMs that are not running, are now on the XCP-ng host or XCP-ng pool. So nothing is on the XCP-ng 2600K. To make it easy, let's select a machine that's not running, and let's click on migrate to see if we can use this to migrate from a master to another master. Select the destination host. So I can select 2600K. Select the migration network. There's only one interface active for both machines, so I'm not touching this. And then click on OK, and he started the migration normally. So if we click on tasks, you can see the progress. So now that we see that this is apparently working for the systems that are not running, let's go to pools. It gives always another pool, another view, and we see that there is one virtual machine migrated. And let's look at the other pool, and there we see that there are not 8 but 7 virtual machines present. So, and there is no Rocky 9 workstation present either. So I will be back when I have transferred this way all my systems that are not running, and then we will do together one system that's running. Okay, all non-running virtual machines that I have on storage resource on my actual XCP-ng host is now to my new, the 2600K. Okay, we are a few days later, and I have migrated all the systems that were not running, and I have only now the 2 systems that I have always running. That's my secondary Pi-hole and my Xen Orchestra Community Edition. To go further, if I check now my storage, let's look at local storage for both systems. You will see that they are equally charged in disk space, and I have still 2 systems to migrate from my old XCP-ng host to my new old XCP-ng host. So what I would like to do is to remove the shared storage from my old XCP-ng host and then connect it to my new XCP-ng host, my newly configured XCP-ng host. So let's do this. So because it's shared storage, nothing would hold me down to connect first to it and then remove it from the old server. So let's go to new storage, select host, my new host, name NFS 10G, description 2600K, select the type, it's NFS, the server, not going to use DNS name but IP address, default, okay, let's take 4.1. Let's here do a search, select pod, it is the XCP NFS, storage usage, and let's create. So now the storage NFS 10G is also used by my new system. Let's go to my old system, storage. Here you see that I have my iSCSI connected. I'm going to disconnect this, and for the NFS 10G, also disconnected, and my virtual machine ISO, I will leave it. So let's forget it. Okay, and let's forget it also for the NFS share. I will remove the link. Okay, so this is done. Let's check if it's still on our new one visible, and there it is. Okay, so what I would like to do is to move the VMs that I'm not using on my new system, to move it to the shared storage. So let's go to VMs and let's set the filter to show everything, so no filter. And I'm going to try to move multiple VMs. Okay, Let's see if we can do it this way. Select the destination, okay. Same machine, network, nothing to change. And let's select the NFS shared storage. Let's click on OK. Let's see what it is doing. To see it completely, let's go to tasks. And there we will see that the transfers will happen or not. And let's sit this out. Okay, I have one system that's already migrated to my shared storage. So let's test this system to see if everything is still working. So again, the filter to none. Here we see Rocky Linux. Let's click on this, let's start it, and let's go to the console to watch it boot. Enter. If we go to disks, we will see that it is on the shared storage. If we go to the hosts and the statistics, we'll see that there is a more load on the processor for the moment. Memory is not really text. And we have a lot of network throughput for the moment because we are migrating still systems and using now a virtual machine with the shared storage. Back on the Rocky Linux system, let's go to console. Let's log in to see if it works. And let's do a ping to the outside. And this works rather good. Okay, let's exit. Let's have a look at how it is going with the other systems. Okay, the secondary machine is migrated. Let's have a look at it. Docker server and disk. It's also on the shared storage. I'm not going to boot this server, but let's look now on my storage iteration for the new XCP-ng host. So let's go to host, XCP-ng and storage. Local storage still high because there is a mechanism that will free up the disk space in time, but it takes some work. And when that's done, I will migrate my two working systems. And on the shared storage, because it's 8 terabytes that it has as disk space, you don't even see. It's nearly only 1% for the moment that is used. So I have still a long way to go to fill this up. So let's go back to tasks. One system to go. For me, the important thing to monitor is the disk usage. Once this one down, I can move my two working systems, or I could move it temporarily also to the shared storage. But let's first finish this move. Okay, my virtual machines are moved to the shared storage. And if we look at storage, you will see that it has already freed up some space from the SSD. So let's try to move now my first server that I can try. Pile and Xen Orchestra are still running on my old XCP-ng host, and this was started up on my new virtual host from the shared storage. So now I'm going to try to move the Pile virtual machine. Let's migrate to 2000, select migration network, destination, local storage. First going to try to do this to local storage. And all the other things, we're letting this over to XCP-ng and Xen Orchestra, and let's click on OK. The migration of the Pi-hole virtual machine is started. I had to select everything, every network setting, to be able to start up the migration. Otherwise it would not even start. But now it's migrating and I'm curious if it will be transparent or not. Okay, we are at 38 minutes. Operation failed. That was not what we expected to see. But let's look at the VM. Pi-hole. And it's still on the XCP-ng host, XCP-ng pool. So I only see one way to go from now on. I'm going to stop the system. We are going to need to change from strategy. There's another solution, restoring it from backup to the other system. There's no reason that it wouldn't work. Backup, restore. Let's go to Pi-hole. And now I have a more recent backup, and let's select it. And we will restore this to, let's do it also on a network drive, so that I have normally a clean local storage that I can use for other projects. Start the VM after restore so that I can see if it worked. And okay, if we go to tasks, there should be, here the importing is the restore that's going on, and the two exports or the two backups that are going on. Go to VMs, none, let's look. Here you see the importing of the Pi-hole. I'm curious to know if the system will boot up, yes or no, and work, because it's part of the game here. I hope that after the restore the virtual machine will work, because this is the point of having backups, that is to get it restored on another system in case of disaster. The reason that I didn't made a pool of with those two systems is that they are too different to try it out. But if somebody did it with two architectures that were very different, and with that I take in account generations of difference between CPUs, difference in core count, difference in memory, perhaps another network setup. And let me know if you had a good success rate with putting them in a pool, yes or no. Can be of interest for other people that are watching this video. And perhaps I will look into it, but my experience is that it is not really a good thing to do. So still importing the virtual Pi-hole machine from a backup restore. Okay, starting up the virtual machine that has been restored. So let's go to console. Let's do my login. Okay. So far so good. What do we have? Okay. We have numlock reversal. That's what we have. Okay. So this is apparently working. There is only one machine to bring over. Let's go to advanced and change the auto power on. And now let's go back to backups overview. Still busy apparently with one system. It's not the system that we want to restore, it's the Xen Orchestra Community Edition. Let's select it. Okay, selecting. Also to the network drive. We are not going to start this VM because we are using it. We are using the VM on my old XCP-ng host. So let's click on OK here. And the restore is busy. The backup task is finished, and now there is still the restoring busy, and that has ended also. So let's go to my VMs. none. So my system here is down, but let's go to advanced, and the auto power on is there. So when there is a reboot, it will come online. Let's check disks. Okay, that's on the shared storage. Network. TH1 is the network that I am using. So this is the one that has to come up. I'm going to reboot this machine. So I'm going to reboot the XCP-ng 2000K and do a shutdown of the XCP-ng host. And normally I would be in a situation where everything is being migrated to the XCP-ng 2600K. But for future reference, I'm going to check here that it is not starting up in the future. And for the other one, there I have to be sure that it is on power on. So I'm going to verify my network situation for Xen Orchestra that's running. Okay, it's the same layout. Let's try a reboot and see how it will come back. So hosts, first the reboot of the new system. Reboot. Okay. No hosts available. Okay, that's normal. So we have to do a force reboot. Okay. And now let's shut down this system. And this will also be, so let's be patient a little bit, and I hope that everything is going like planned in plan B, because this was never plan A to begin with. Okay, my XCP-ng host, my old server is down, and the new one is still running because it was rebooted. So the address of the new XCP-ng host was 40. Okay, it's already up. Let's try the XO C Home Tiny Lab to see if this is up. This is not up for the moment. Okay, it's online. Okay, Pyol from the restored is started up, and Xen Orchestra is also running from the restored backup. So let's see if the backup tag is present. Here you see now that it is from restored from backup as a tag also. All these things is something that I'm going to clean up before I will shoot another video. For the moment, everything is migrated and working. Lessons learned. For me, if you're changing from one architecture to a completely other architecture and you're moving VMs, you do it with machines that are offline, or you restore your machines from backups. And then you have a good experience with migrating your virtual machines. So for the other stuff, I don't know if somebody else has another experience with moving virtual machines from one pool to another pool, if they could do it with live migration or not, with Xen Orchestra Community Edition and with XCP-ng 8.2.1. So let me know it in the comments, or send me an email with how you did it, and I will look into it. I will keep my system running. I will keep my system a few months like it is before I'm going to use it for another project. And my new XCP-ng will stay as it is. I will a little bit clean up the storages and network interfaces that are visible. And when that's done, it's a clean slate or a clean hypervisor to continue making tutorials on and exploring more of the beautiful way how XCP-ng hypervisor works with Xen Orchestra. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!